As a nation, we have reached a state of cultural subversion where full-blown treason has become the norm.
People love you and you win. Woo! And when your son looks at you and says, "Mama, look, you won," bullies don't win. And I said, baby, they don't, because we're going to go in there, we're going to impeach the mother.
Judicial Watch has been sounding that alarm for some time now, exposing the fact that your tax dollars are supporting your own demise. George Soros' Open Society Foundation's efforts to subvert the populism and anti-globalism sweeping the United States with Marxist division and unyielding self-loathing should ring alarm bells from sea to shining sea. Judicial Watch stated, Soros, with the help of American taxpayer dollars, bolsters a radical left-wing agenda that in the United States has included promoting an open border with Mexico and fighting immigration enforcement efforts, fomenting racial disharmony by funding anti-capitalist racialist organizations, financing the Black Lives Matter movement and other organizations involved in the riots in Ferguson, Missouri, weakening the integrity of our electoral systems, promoting taxpayer-funded abortion on demand, advocating a government-run healthcare system, opposing U.S. counterterrorism efforts, promoting dubious transnational climate change agreements that threaten American sovereignty, and working to advance gun control and erode Second Amendment protections.
Soros moved last year about $18 billion of his personal wealth into Open Society Foundation. That funds their overhead and their overall operations. But Open Society Foundation and all of its affiliates and subsidiaries is very smart. They know how to pick the lock on the U.S. Treasury. And so they go to the State Department, they go to the USAID, and they apply for grants and funding for programs, activities, all their sort of pet rock stuff. And our State Department and USAID is stupid enough to actually give them grants. Sometimes they're small, sometimes it's $10,000 or $20,000. But sometimes it's hundreds of millions of dollars, and they essentially outsource our foreign policy to Soros front groups.
Now, as I said, George Soros is a billionaire. His groups don't need tax dollars to do their work advancing their left-wing agenda, don't you think? And we're also exposing that USAID and State Department are funding these far-left groups to undermine the non-progressive or non-liberal or non-socialist policies of governments abroad.
Add to Soros's blatant subversion that of the Washington Post. The Jeff Bezos-run paper has had to distance itself from the Khashoggi-Qatari propaganda debacle, only to step in its own pile of disinformation yet again, as the Conservative Review reported less than 2 months after he was given prominent op-ed space in the Washington Post. A video has surfaced of Houthi rebel leader Mohammed Ali al-Houthi launching a shoulder-fired missile and then reciting the Houthi slogan, which calls for death to America. Whether it's the forced acceptance of pedophilia or the domination of our political landscape by foreign interests, the moral and rational code of the United States is taking a severe beating. We have no other choice but to prosecute and reject this invasion of intended mental illness spearheaded by enemies of our republic like George Soros, or find ourselves morphing into the madness as our nation enters the point of no return. John Bowne reporting.